Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks you for joining me today. So today I'd like to take a deeper dive into macronutrients. So last lecture we established the ultimate equation when it comes to body weight composition, which is calories in versus calories out. So that equation is going to determine if you put on weight, if you maintain weight, or if you lose weight. So we want to talk a little bit more about what those macronutrients are. So macronutrients are the big food groups that end up making the total calories. So before we go into the main three ones, I want to just get the honorable mentions, if I can say that. So we have alcohol. So I'm putting alcohol there because alcohol has calories. So it's very easy to forget about alcohol. Actually, in the modern diet, a lot of the calories we have are calories we drink. So I'm going to get into that in a future lecture. But remember, alcohol has calories, even though we're not going to talk about it for now. Then we have sugar alcohols, which are just modified molecule, usually made to sweeten things. So we'll get them into like sugar-free gum. It's sugar-free, but it has sugar alcohols, which have calories. The calories in the sugar alcohol vary. I think some are like 2 calories per gram, up to 3 or something. So it's less than sugars, because sugars are carbs, therefore 4. But they're still calories. So if you see something sugar-free, it might be sugar-free, but they might have other chemicals, sugar alcohol, that still have calories. So we have to understand there are other ways to get calories instead of the 3 macronutrients. So going to the 3 macronutrients, we have protein, of course, we have fats, and we have carbs, right? So we have our calorie total. If you did the exercise last week, you came to a close understanding of what your calories are. So let's say 2,000 calories, just random number. Now, the next stage to do is to divide those calories into the macronutrients. So what I advise is this crude separation, which is 40% of your calories coming from protein, 30% coming from carbs, and 30% coming from fats. This could change. This is just a starting point, right? So don't get obsessed with it. It's just a starting point to know what we're working with. Let's start with protein. So protein, the main role of protein is to maintain muscle mass and to build muscle mass. It has, like everything else, a lot of other roles in hormones and all that kind of thing. But from our perspective, what we care about is maintaining and building muscle mass. Obviously, protein is also very useful for functional strength. So it's also beneficial for that. The second reason we want to have protein a little bit higher, not only building muscle, sparing muscle, but it's also because protein costs energy to digest. So if you're eating 1 gram of protein, 4 calories, 1 calorie, 1.5 calories of it is going to go through digesting it. So you're actually only basically gaining 3 calories. So because of that, compared to the other macronutrients, you actually be able to eat a little bit more protein, to hit the same macros. So that's one of the reasons why we have protein a little bit higher. I have fats at 30%. Again, we can play with these numbers. I just find it interesting. One of the reasons we have fat is involved in hormones. It's involved in lots of cellular processes, like you have healthier nails if you have, fats and stuff. So we don't want to reduce fat to a point where your body becomes deficient, right? And also fat tastes good and it helps with satiety. When you eat something that's a little bit fatty, it sits in your belly for longer and you don't feel hungry. So the rest of the calories will come from carbs. So 30% from carbs. And again, I don't want to go into what's good carbs or what's bad carbs. Carbs, it's just for energy, so we'll fill the rest with carbs. Generally, if you can, try to have your carbs around times where you're more active. So the homework now is, again, we're back to the food diary. So now I want you to think about it each day. So on day 1, track everything. And before you go to bed, check how the split is. So you're trying to get 40% protein, 30% fat, and 30% carb. So maybe at the end of day 1, you had 20% protein, 40%, what we call that, 40% carbs and 40% fat, right? That's okay. What we're trying to see is a baseline. So you hit your calories like you wanted because you did the exercise last week for a week, so you know you hit that calorie, but the macros are out of whack. So on the before day 2, you're like, okay, protein is low, carbs and fat are high. So I'm gonna have a little bit more chicken breast because I know, looking at the diary, that has a lot more protein. Carbs are high, so what I'm gonna do is okay, I was gonna say drop the banana, but banana is pretty good for you. So maybe reduce the rice. Rice is also good for you, but let's say reduce the rice a little bit to bring the carbs down a bit, and then also reduce the fat. How can you reduce fat? Maybe nuts, for example. So you reduce the nuts. And tomorrow you do this new trial, with a little bit more chicken, a little bit less rice, a little bit less nuts, and then you come up to 30% protein, 30%, let's say 35% carbs and 35% fat. So already we're a little bit better. So you know that you need to get the protein up a little bit, the fat down a little bit. So maybe this time, okay, we don't want to go too much chicken. So maybe we add some shrimp, because shrimp is mostly protein, and then instead of reducing the rice, maybe you had some rice cakes, maybe you have banana or plantain, whatever your carb source, and you only have to reduce a little bit because now you're 35, you want to be at 30, so you don't want to go too much there. So you reduce a little bit there, and the fat, maybe you use like 1 tablespoon of olive oil or something like that. We reduce that, and then next day we apply that, and then maybe bam, we go 40, 30, 30. So by tracking our calories, by reading our diaries, we're able to make good decision and adapt our diet. So this is going to be the video for today. Like, it's really important that we understand calories, macronutrients, and we're able to read our diaries and make the adjustments. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this, leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you're interested in training, also you can get in touch with me. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.